Okay, so navigating the global business world these days,
Mm.
it's a lot like trying to solve a puzzle that keeps changing its pieces.
Mhm.
Especially when we're talking about supply chains, right?
Yeah.
It's all about adapting and staying one step ahead. And, one trend we keep seeing pop up again and again is that whole China plus one strategy.
Yeah, that's spot on. It's like companies are realizing they don't want to put all their eggs in one basket anymore.
Exactly. So instead of relying only on China for manufacturing, they're saying, hey, let's diversify a bit. Let's add another location to the mix just in case. It's like a safety net for their business.
Exactly, like a backup plan.
Yeah.
But the question is, where do they go for that plus one?
Well, it seems like everywhere we look, Vietnam keeps coming up as a top contender. But is it just about finding cheaper labor?
Cost is definitely a big part of it. We've seen reports like those from QMA showing that Vietnam's attracting a lot of investment, particularly in industries that rely heavily on labor, like textiles, footwear, electronics, those kinds of things. But honestly, there's a lot more to the story than just saving a few bucks.
Okay, so spill the beans. What else is making Vietnam so attractive to businesses?
Well, for one thing, Vietnam's been really strategic about its trade agreements. They've been signing deals left and right, like the CPTPP, which is a mouthful, I know. It's the Comprehensive and Progressive Agreement for Trans-Pacific Partnership. And then there's the EVFTA, the EU-Vietnam Free Trade Agreement. These agreements basically open up massive markets for businesses in Vietnam and cut down on those pesky tariffs, making global trade a whole lot smoother.
Ah, so it's not just about making things cheaper in Vietnam.
Right.
It's also about making it easier to sell those products all over the world.
Yeah.
That's pretty smart.
Exactly. And then there's the workforce itself. Vietnam has this young and increasingly tech-savvy population, and they're skilled too. In fact, their median age is significantly lower than China's. So you've got a workforce that's ready to work, and they're going to be around for a while.
That's huge. Having a reliable workforce like that is essential for any business, especially in today's fast-paced world. But, let's be realistic here. Moving production to a whole new country can't be a piece of cake. What are some of the challenges companies face when they try to implement this China plus one strategy?
Oh, you're absolutely right. It's not without its hiccups. You've got to navigate through all sorts of different regulations, and you've got to manage those supplier relationships across borders. Then there's the whole issue of making sure you're playing by the rules in a whole new set of trade regulations. It can get pretty complicated.
So why bother? If it's so tricky, what's the real payoff for businesses that take the plunge?
Well, imagine this. You've poured all your resources into production in just one country, and then suddenly, boom, there's some kind of disruption. Maybe a natural disaster or some political instability, whatever it is, your entire supply chain comes to a screeching halt. That's the risk that China plus one is trying to minimize.
So it's like having a backup generator for your business. You might not need it every day, but when the power goes out, you're sure glad you have it.
Exactly. And you know what? Vietnam offers more than just risk reduction. Their logistics infrastructure is top-notch, especially their ports and their location. Strategically brilliant. It's close to major markets like China, India, Southeast Asia. This all adds up to lower shipping costs, faster delivery times, easier access to raw materials, you name it.
Wow, it sounds like Vietnam is checking a lot of boxes for businesses looking to diversify their operations.
Hmm.
But is it really a one-size-fits-all solution?
Not necessarily. Every business is different with its own unique needs and challenges. But if you're looking for a manufacturing hub that's reliable, cost-effective, and strategically located, Vietnam is definitely worth a closer look.
Okay, so let's say a business owner's listening to this and they're intrigued. What are some concrete steps they can take to explore the potential of sourcing in Vietnam?
First things first, connect with some industry experts who specialize in Vietnam sourcing. They can offer valuable insights and guidance tailored to your specific needs.
So tapping into that expertise is key when you're entering a new market. Makes sense. What else?
Networking. Networking. Attend industry events. Connect with businesses that are already operating in Vietnam. Get some firsthand insights from those who have been there and done that.
It's like tapping into this collective wisdom, right? Learning from those who've already navigated the ins and outs. Sounds like a smart move. So what comes after you've connected with those experts and built up your network?
Well, that's when the real work begins. You need to really dig deep and vet those potential suppliers thoroughly.
So we're talking about more than just a quick Google search, right?
Oh, yeah. This is about getting your hands dirty. You need to visit those factories in person. See for yourself what they're capable of. Assess their quality standards. Make sure they're actually complying with ethical and environmental regulations. It's a whole process.
So it's not just about finding the cheapest option. It's about finding the right partner, someone you can actually trust and build a relationship with.
Exactly. It's about more than just transactions. It's about understanding your suppliers' businesses, their challenges, their goals. It's about creating a partnership that benefits both sides.
Okay, so let's say I've done my homework. I found a supplier I can trust. We've built a solid relationship. What's next?
Communication. That's key. You need to make sure everyone's on the same page. Establish clear expectations. Define those quality standards. And don't forget about implementing a robust quality control process to keep things running smoothly.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Communication, quality control, a solid partnership. Those sound like the pillars of success when it comes to sourcing in Vietnam. Anything else to keep in mind?
Oh, absolutely. The legal and regulatory landscape, that's crucial. Make sure you're dotting your I's and crossing your T's when it comes to all those applicable laws and regulations, both in Vietnam and back home.
Right, because the last thing you want is to run into legal trouble down the road.
Yeah.
So we've covered a lot of ground here. The potential benefits, the challenges, some concrete steps businesses can take. It's a lot to process. But what's the bottom line here? Is sourcing in Vietnam truly worth it?
Well, like you said, there are definitely some complexities to navigate, but the potential rewards, they're significant. We're talking about reducing costs, improving efficiency, tapping into a dynamic and growing market. It's a strategic move that can really strengthen your supply chain and set your business up for success in the long run.
And just to clarify, this China plus one strategy isn't about turning our backs on China completely, right?
Exactly. It's not about decoupling. It's about diversifying. It's about finding that sweet spot, that balance that ensures business continuity and mitigates risk in a world that's constantly changing.
That makes a lot of sense. So as the world keeps evolving, embracing this kind of approach can actually give businesses a competitive edge.
Absolutely. The businesses that thrive are the ones that can adapt quickly and jump on new opportunities.
So we've talked about the strategy, Vietnam's strengths, some of the challenges, and of course the importance of careful planning and due diligence.
Yeah, we've covered a lot of ground, from those cost advantages and strategic trade agreements, all the way to the importance of building strong supplier relationships and navigating the legal landscape.
It's been a real deep dive. But before we wrap things up, let's bring it back to our listener. After all of this, the question remains, is your business ready to explore the opportunities that Vietnam offers?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? And the answer, well, it really depends on your specific circumstances, your goals, your risk tolerance. It's not a decision to make lightly.
Yeah, it's a big decision for sure.
Yeah.
But hey, if you're looking to build a supply chain that's more robust, more agile, Vietnam is definitely worth exploring.
Couldn't agree more. And the best place to start, gathering information, connecting with the right resources, laying that groundwork.
Speaking of resources, we've actually got a whole series of podcasts that are all about sourcing in Vietnam. We dive deep into all the essential aspects, like market research, how to find and evaluate suppliers, navigating the sourcing process, factory visits, quality assurance, you name it.
Yeah, it's a pretty comprehensive guide. We walk you through it all, help you make informed decisions and navigate those complexities that come with sourcing in Vietnam.
So if you're serious about this opportunity, I highly recommend checking out those episodes. They're full of practical tips and insights to help you get started on the right foot.
Don't underestimate the power of knowledge. The more you know about sourcing in Vietnam, the better equipped you'll be to make those strategic decisions for your business.
Absolutely. Couldn't have said it better myself. And for those who are ready to take that next step, we've got a couple of resources that might come in handy. First up, our supplier request for information form. It's super quick and easy. Just tell us about your sourcing needs.
We'll take that information and use it to connect you with potential suppliers who match what you're looking for.
And if you're more of a let's talk it out kind of person, we also offer free consultations. Our team of experts is ready to answer your questions, provide guidance, and help you develop a sourcing strategy that's tailor-made for your business.
It's a great opportunity to get some expert advice and support as you explore all the possibilities that Vietnam has to offer.
So there you have it, the China plus one strategy. It's a powerful tool for businesses that are looking to build a more resilient and competitive supply chain. And with its strategic location, those cost advantages, skilled workforce, stable political climate, Vietnam is a compelling destination for those who are ready to diversify beyond China. It's about doing your research, building strong relationships, and staying ahead of the game in this ever-changing global marketplace.
You got it. And as we always say on this show, knowledge is the key to success. Keep learning, keep exploring, and never be afraid to embrace those new opportunities.
Couldn't agree more. That's a fantastic note to end on. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the world of China plus one and sourcing in Vietnam. We'll see you next time for another fascinating exploration of the global business landscape.